I loved it for the feels in general, for the romanticism, because I'm a kind of romantic guy, for the small bite-sized story about loved ones and the feeling of losing them. If it wasn't for the above, I would have uninstalled it much, much sooner. Last Day of June is a joy to view, not so much when you have to play it. And in the often brief time spending with this, felt a bit like a chore, like a tedious task I had to complete. Like something I had to kind of just get over with. Playing this game at some point seriously made me question my decisions in life and left me with more questions rather than answers. For example, how do you leave the headlights on to your car without draining the battery? Let's face it, that car should not have started to begin with and basically avoided the whole tragedy altogether. I never brought the sweaters to the girl that I loved when she was cold because I've never been with the girl that I loved. And I definitely never got a gift from her. These are kind of like all things that cross your mind, or at least cross my mind, in the first 5 minutes of gameplay. Oh man, Last Day of June starts strong. Almost at this point, 1,200 hours in Warzone, a bunch of Ryan Reynolds sarcastic movies, The Avengers, all kind of made me forget about real life. The last day of June is a reminder. Time to take inventory. Time to feel in case you've forgotten how to. The first achievement that you can unlock in the game is called a bad dream. This really sets the tone for the rest of what it is to come. But it also lets you know that sometimes between dreams and our subconscious, there are similarities. And at times, there's very little difference between dream and reality. Thing is, I really wanted to immerse myself in this amazing story, but the game didn't really let me do that. And I kind of see it why it got those mediocre reviews to begin with. I mean, oh no. The gameplay. There's a gorgeous world contrasts with the tragedy of the story and immediately kind of draws you in. But then you have to play the game. And it felt a bit boring, just tedious. And what is happening and what do I need to do next? The frustrating part was for me that I was transported many times into the same landscape. You get to see the story throughout the eyes of not just the protagonist, but other people. You get other characters and you have to do a bunch of puzzles to get through one painting to another. There's a few paintings, call those paintings like levels. You got to do them all. It's just silly moments when you have to align everything to perfection, like when you are throwing a ball and the dog has to be right next to that tree, reconstructing somehow to a fault every single moment as it happened in the past. It's not fun, and whoever thought about it, I don't think they thought about it too hard. There's a lot of cinematic repetition. You've definitely seen that cutscene way too many times. It gets boring and you forget about the real story being stuck in this silly gameplay. The soundtrack is synced perfectly with the stunning visuals. Whatever happens, it cues up with this amazing OST, all triggered at the perfect moment. And this kind of dissipates when you're stuck during the level and you just don't know how to progress. And probably for good enough reasons. And unfortunately for me, at least, after so much tedious gameplay, it doesn't feel satisfactory when you get to the end and you reach that final conclusion. For me, I remember, because it happened, I finished this game yesterday, it was in the back of my mind, oh, finally, it's over. And I don't think a game that starts so emotional, so romantic, should finish like that. I mean, for sure, Last Day of June, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a relatively bite-sized small game. And that's a good thing, right? It just feels like it was kind of put together by two separate teams of people. On one hand, the folks who thought about the story and composed all this beautiful, stunning visuals that you see in front of you, plus the soundtrack and everything. And the other team who was in charge of actually putting the level together and the whole gameplay situation. These two teams somehow did not match or something. You are torn between the beautiful aesthetics, the amazing story, and what you need to play to get through the actual game. I wish this was better. I really do, because it feels to me like a solid 6.5 or even 7. I feel like in the end, Last Day of June is a missed opportunity.